The Princess Bride isn't just a movie, it's a beloved ritual passed down through generations. Behind the fairy tale charm and endlessly quotable lines lies a production packed with near disasters, secret romances, and heartfelt performances rooted in real-life emotion. From a bedtime story told to two little girls to a film that almost never made it to screens, this classic hides secrets that even devoted fans might not know. One actor channeled profound personal grief into the film's most powerful moment, while another lived in constant fear of being replaced. Let's get started. Number 1. The bedtime story that started everything. The origin of this beloved classic's title is as whimsical as the film itself. William Goldman's two daughters made specific requests for their bedtime story. One wanted to hear about a princess, the other about a bride. Rather than choose between them, Goldman combined both wishes into a single tale that would eventually become his most famous work. What started as a father's creative solution transformed into a novel published in 1973. The unusual title perfectly captured the story's dual nature, balancing romantic fairy tale elements with sharp humor and adventure. This whimsical origin reflects the entire spirit of the production. The title became a perfect representation of the film's tone, simultaneously earnest and self-aware, romantic yet playful. What could have been just another fantasy adventure instead became a genre-defying masterpiece, all because a father listened to his daughters. Number 2. 10 years of Hollywood saying no. Before Rob Reiner finally brought the story to life, the project spent over a decade trapped in development limbo. Goldman's novel attracted interest from major Hollywood players, but none could crack the code of adapting its unique tone. Directors including Francois Truffaut and John Boorman attempted to mount productions, only to watch their visions collapse. The casting ideas were often wildly off-base. At one point, Arnold Schwarzenegger was seriously considered for Fezzik, which would have drastically altered the character's gentle giant persona. The constant turnover frustrated Goldman so deeply that he eventually bought back the film rights himself. This struggle became a blessing in disguise. The delays meant the project landed with Reiner at precisely the right moment. Had any earlier attempts succeeded, we might have gotten a completely different, and likely far less magical, version of this tale. Number 3. The lead role filled at the very last minute. The search for Buttercup nearly derailed the entire production when casting proved far more difficult than anyone anticipated. Wright landed the role just days before filming began, winning out over major Hollywood names in a frantic last-minute decision. Uma Thurman and Meg Ryan had both tested for the part, but Wright's almost ethereal quality convinced Reiner she was perfect. Wright's casting came down to the wire in a way that terrified the production team. With sets built and a tight shooting schedule looming, the film still lacked its leading lady. Her audition captured something intangible, a balance of strength and vulnerability that made Buttercup feel like she'd stepped straight out of a storybook. The gamble paid off spectacularly. Wright brought a naturalistic performance that grounded the fantasy elements. Her chemistry with the cast developed quickly despite the compressed timeline, and her willingness to throw herself into demanding physical scenes from day one proved she was the perfect choice. Number 4. When nature stopped the cameras, Mother Nature became an unexpected antagonist during the Cliffs of Insanity sequence, when severe weather brought production to a complete standstill. High winds, driving rain, and dangerous conditions forced the crew to pause filming for several days. The cast and crew watched helplessly as their carefully planned sequences were postponed indefinitely. The location shoot in Ireland faced challenges beyond just weather delays. Technical difficulties compounded the problems as equipment struggled against the elements, and safety concerns for the actors became paramount. The production team scrambled to find solutions, but some days offered no choice except to wait. Remarkably, the delays improved the final product. The dramatic skies that eventually cleared provided a naturally epic backdrop that no artificial lighting could replicate. The footage captured after the storm carries an authentic intensity that perfectly matches the sequence's high stakes, turning a setback into one of the film's most visually striking moments. Number 5. How André learned his lines. André the Giant's thick French accent created an unexpected obstacle that nearly compromised one of the film's most beloved characters. His early line readings proved almost unintelligible during screen tests, raising serious concerns about whether audiences would understand Fezzik. André was perfect for the role physically and temperamentally, but his accent threatened to undermine his performance. Rob Reiner devised a creative solution that showcased his commitment to making the casting work. He personally recorded all of Fezzik's dialogue on tape, allowing André to memorize the lines by ear rather than relying on reading scripts. This patient approach helped André internalize the rhythm and pronunciation of English. the workaround paid beautiful dividends. André's performance captured Fezzik's gentle nature perfectly, and his slightly accented delivery actually enhanced the character's otherworldly quality. What could have been a deal-breaking problem instead became a testament to the collaborative spirit that defined the entire shoot. Number 6. The role André almost never got. Goldman originally wrote Fezzik specifically for André the Giant, creating a character that matched both his physical presence and gentle personality. However, scheduling conflicts and André's declining health issues nearly derailed the perfect casting. The production faced the real possibility of losing their ideal actor before filming even began. With André's availability uncertain, the filmmakers briefly explored other options. Actors including Liam Neeson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar were seriously considered as potential replacements. Each brought their own physical presence, but none captured the unique combination of size, warmth, and vulnerability that André naturally embodied. Fate intervened when André's schedule cleared at precisely the right moment. His health concerns were managed carefully throughout production, and he committed fully to bringing Fezzik to life. The role became one of André's most beloved performances, proving that sometimes the universe conspires to make the right casting happen against all odds. Number 7. André's off-screen legend. Cast and crew members were absolutely awestruck by André's appetite and his unique cocktail creation known as the American. Stories from the set describe him consuming quantities of alcohol that would hospitalize most people, and then calmly sitting down for dinner. His legendary capacity became the stuff of on-set folklore that cast members still recount decades later. André's eating and drinking habits weren't just impressive, they were physics-defying. He once consumed enough liquor to knock out 5 average-sized people before the evening meal even began. The production had to make special accommodations for his needs, and catering quickly learned to prepare significantly larger portions than standard. These stories cemented André's status as a legend both on camera and off. His larger-than-life presence extended beyond his physical stature into every aspect of his personality. Cast members remember him with genuine affection, recalling not just his impressive feats but his kindness and humor that made him beloved by everyone on set. Number 8. When the romance wasn't just acting. The undeniable chemistry between Westley and Buttercup wasn't purely the result of skilled acting. Cary Elwes and Wright developed genuine crushes on each other during filming, creating an authentic romantic tension that translated beautifully on screen. Their real affection added layers of sincerity to scenes that could have felt overly theatrical. Behind-the-scenes flirting became a regular occurrence between takes. Cast and crew members noticed the way the two actors looked at each other when cameras weren't rolling. Their connection went beyond professional chemistry. There was genuine attraction that made their love story feel real rather than manufactured. This authentic emotion elevated every romantic moment in the film. When Westley gazes at Buttercup or when they share their first kiss, audiences are witnessing something partially real. The actors' mutual crushes gave the fairy tale romance a grounded quality that helps explain why their relationship remains one of cinema's most beloved love stories. Number 9. The hit that actually landed. In the scene where Count Rugen knocks out Westley with a sword pommel, Cary Elwes made a bold decision that shocked everyone on set. He insisted that Christopher Guest actually hit him for real to make the moment look authentic. Guest was hesitant, but Elwes convinced him it would improve the scene's impact. The hit landed harder than anyone anticipated. Elwes was knocked completely unconscious and had to be rushed to the emergency room for evaluation. The production halted as everyone waited anxiously to hear if their leading man had suffered serious injury. Fortunately, he recovered quickly, though the incident terrified the entire crew. Incredibly, this genuine knockout made it into the final film. The authenticity Elwes sought came at a real cost, but his commitment to the moment shows in the finished product. The scene carries a visceral impact precisely because the danger was real, turning what could have been a simple transition into a memorable moment of unexpected violence. Number 10. The real grief powering Inigo's revenge. The climactic duel between Inigo Montoya and Count Rugen carries emotional weight that transcends typical movie swordplay. Mandy Patinkin channeled profound personal grief into the scene, using his character's quest for revenge as a way to process his own pain. For Patinkin, this wasn't just acting, it was catharsis. Patinkin's father had passed away from illness, leaving him with unresolved feelings of helplessness and anger. During the famous confrontation, he imagined Count Rugen as the disease that took his dad. Every sword strike represented his desire to fight back against something that had stolen someone he loved, giving the scene an intensity that goes beyond the script. This emotional depth explains why Inigo's famous line resonates so powerfully with audiences. When he finally achieves his revenge, viewers sense they're witnessing something more meaningful than a simple action sequence. Patinkin's performance transforms a genre moment into something genuinely moving, making it one of the film's most unforgettable scenes. Number 11. The prank that put the lead on crutches. André the Giant had a playful side that sometimes led to unexpected consequences on set. He convinced Cary Elwes to try riding his four-wheeler, assuring him it would be fun and perfectly safe. What started as a light-hearted moment between friends quickly turned into a painful incident that could have seriously impacted production. The joyride ended with Elwes suffering a broken toe that left him limping for days. Terrified of being fired or causing production delays, he chose to hide the injury from Rob Reiner and the crew. He pushed through the pain during takes, carefully concealing his discomfort to avoid drawing attention to the accident. Production continued with subtle accommodations that worked around the injury without anyone officially acknowledging it. The incident showcased both the camaraderie between cast members and the risks actors sometimes take to keep productions on schedule. André's prank became a painful reminder that even innocent fun on set can have real consequences. Number 12. The day a ratsuit actor went to jail. The rodents of unusual size created chaos both on-screen and behind the scenes. The actors hired to wear the elaborate rat suits proved to be problematic in ways the production never anticipated. One performer ended up in jail right before a crucial shooting day, leaving the crew scrambling for solutions. With one Rouse actor unavailable and time running out, the production team had to improvise quickly. They created a dummy rat for certain shots, relying on creative camera angles and editing to sell the illusion. The improvisation required the remaining actors to work harder, compensating for the missing element with physical commitment. The absurdity of the situation nearly derailed what became one of the film's most memorable action sequences. Quick thinking and flexibility saved the scene, transforming a potential disaster into a surprisingly effective final product. The fire swamp battle remains thrilling despite, or perhaps because of, the last-minute fixes that made it possible. Number 13. The actor who feared the axe every single day. Throughout the entire production, Wallace Shawn lived in constant fear that he was about to be fired. He believed himself miscast as Vizzini and spent every day expecting Rob Reiner to replace him. This anxiety consumed him despite no actual indication that anyone was unhappy with his performance. Shawn compared himself unfavorably to Danny DeVito, for whom the role was originally written. He convinced himself that DeVito would have been funnier, more menacing, and simply better in every way. The self-doubt created a psychological burden that weighed on him throughout filming, even as he delivered one memorable take after another. The irony is that Shawn's performance became iconic precisely because of his unique interpretation. His nervous energy and distinctive voice made Vizzini unforgettable in ways that might not have happened with a more confident actor. The fear he carried created a vulnerability that actually enhanced his portrayal of the smugly overconfident criminal mastermind. Number 14. Her very first day involved real fire. Robin Wright's first official day on set involved being literally set on fire, an intimidating introduction to the production. The scene required her to wear flame-retardant gear while Cary Elwes extinguished the flames in a tightly choreographed sequence. For a newcomer stepping into her first major film role, the baptism by fire was both literal and nerve-wracking. The safety preparations were extensive and meticulous. Crew members carefully explained every step of the stunt, ensuring Wright understood exactly what would happen and when. Despite the reassurances, the moment carried real danger that required absolute trust in the stunt coordinators and her co-star. Wright handled the challenge with remarkable composure and professionalism. Her willingness to dive into such a demanding stunt on day one impressed everyone on set and established her credibility with the crew. The successful execution proved she was more than capable of handling the physical demands her role required throughout the rest of production. Number 15. The author who forgot he wrote the script. Author William Goldman's emotional investment in his creation sometimes worked against the production in unexpected ways. When he watched Buttercup's dress catch fire during filming, he panicked so intensely that he momentarily forgot he had written that exact moment into the script. His genuine terror at seeing his character in danger revealed the depth of his connection to the story. Goldman's nerves became so overwhelming that Rob Reiner had to gently suggest keeping him away from certain sets. The author's presence, while valued, sometimes created additional tension during already stressful moments. His protective instincts toward his characters and story were understandable but occasionally counterproductive to the filming process. This incident perfectly illustrated Goldman's relationship with his work. He wasn't just a writer who handed off a screenplay, he remained deeply personally invested in every detail. His passion gave the film its heart, even when that same passion made him difficult to have on set during particularly intense sequences. Number 16. No stunt doubles for the greatest duel. The legendary duel between Westley and Inigo stands as one of cinema's greatest sword fights, and remarkably, not a single move was performed by stunt doubles. Cary Elwes and Mandy Patinkin trained for months with elite fencing coaches, learning historically accurate techniques that gave the sequence its authentic feel. Every parry, thrust, and acrobatic flourish came from the actors themselves. The training regimen was exhaustive and demanding. Both actors worked extensively to master not just the choreography, but the actual skill of sword fighting. The attention to detail extended to Inigo's left-handed technique, which required Patinkin to learn an entirely different set of movements than traditional right-handed fencing. The result speaks for itself. The duel feels genuinely dangerous and thrilling because real skill is on display. The actor's dedication elevated what could have been a standard action sequence into something memorable and rewatchable. Decades later, film fans still study and celebrate the fight as a masterclass in how to choreograph cinematic combat. Number 17. The headfirst dive nobody asked for. Cary Elwes suggested that Westley should dive headfirst into the lightning sand rather than fall backward, believing the forward plunge would add dramatic flair to the moment. The stunt was considerably more dangerous than the original plan and required perfect timing with an elaborate trapdoor system built beneath the sand. The technical complexity meant there was little room for error. If Elwes mistimed his dive, or if the trapdoor mechanism failed, the consequences could be serious. The crew prepared meticulously, rehearsing the sequence repeatedly to ensure everyone understood their precise role in making the stunt work safely. He pulled off the dive flawlessly in a single take, demonstrating both his physical courage and his commitment to making every moment visually striking. His willingness to take calculated risks throughout production helped create some of the film's most memorable sequences. The lightning sand scene remains thrilling, precisely because real danger lurked beneath every frame. Number 18. The scene that left the crew in physical pain. Billy Crystal's improvisation during the Miracle Max scene created absolute chaos on set in the best possible way. His rapid-fire comedy had the crew struggling to maintain composure behind the cameras, with some laughing so hard they had difficulty performing their jobs. The scene became a highlight of production for everyone involved. Mandy Patinkin suffered the most from Crystal's comedic genius. He bruised a rib, trying desperately not to laugh during takes. The physical pain from suppressing laughter became so intense that Patinkin could barely maintain his composure. In some shots, Cary Elwes had to be replaced with a dummy because he couldn't stop laughing at Crystal's performance. The brilliance captured on film represents only a fraction of the comedy that unfolded during shooting. Crystal brought spontaneous energy that elevated the entire sequence beyond what existed on the page. His contribution transformed a simple plot device into one of the movie's most beloved and quotable moments. Number 19. Executives. Who thought the title would sink it? Studio executives harbored serious concerns that boys wouldn't watch a movie called The Princess Bride, fearing the title sounded too feminine and romantic. They pushed hard for a name change that would appeal to a broader demographic, suggesting various alternatives they believed would perform better at the box office. Rob Reiner and William Goldman fought tenaciously to preserve the original title. They understood that the name perfectly captured the story's essence, its blend of romance, adventure, and self-aware humor. Changing it would fundamentally misrepresent what made the story special in the first place. The filmmakers ultimately won the battle, though the studio's marketing concerns proved partially prophetic. The film underperformed in theaters initially, though the title became iconic as the movie found its audience on home video. The name that executives feared would limit appeal, instead, became inseparable from a beloved classic. Number 20. The secret condition that brought the composer aboard. Composer Mark Knopfler agreed to score the film on one unusual condition. Rob Reiner had to hide a prop hat from This Is Spinal Tap somewhere in a scene. The rock star's playful demand represented the kind of creative insider joke that filmmakers love sneaking into their work. Reiner fulfilled the request by placing the hat in the grandson's bedroom, where it appears briefly during the framing sequences. The Easter egg went unnoticed by most viewers for years, existing as a private joke between the composer and director. Only dedicated fans who knew to look for it eventually spotted the reference. This hidden detail exemplifies the spirit of collaboration and fun that defined the production. Knopfler's condition wasn't about ego, it was about being part of something special and leaving a personal mark. His beautiful score helped define the film's emotional landscape, making his quirky demand seem like a small price for such magnificent music. Number 21. The ending, they shot and then buried. The film originally ended with a fantastical image that Rob Reiner ultimately deemed too precious for the story's tone. After the grandson finishes the book, the heroes appeared on horseback outside his bedroom window, waving goodbye in a literal manifestation of the storybook coming to life. Reiner actually filmed the sequence before deciding it didn't work. The deleted ending felt overly cute and undermined the film's careful balance between fantasy and reality. The framing device worked precisely because it maintained separation between the story world and the real world. Breaking that boundary threatened to make the conclusion feel saccharine rather than satisfying. Reiner made the wise choice to end simply, with the grandfather's "as you wish" and the grandson's request for him to return tomorrow. The understated conclusion honors both the story and the relationship between grandfather and grandson. What seemed like the perfect storybook ending on paper turned out to be less magical than the quiet moment of connection that replaced it. Number 22. The backstory nobody wrote, but everyone felt. Billy Crystal and Carol Kane developed an intricate history for Miracle Max and Valerie that never appears in the script or on screen. They created detailed stories about how the characters met, their courtship, their arguments over the years, and how they grew old together. This invisible foundation shaped every moment of their brief appearance. The chemistry between Crystal and Kane feels lived in and authentic because they approach their roles as real people with decades of shared history. Their bickering carries the weight of countless previous arguments, and their obvious affection shows through despite the constant banter. None of this backstory was written. The actors created it themselves. This commitment to depth, even in a small role, demonstrates the level of craft that went into every aspect of the production. Two comedy masters could have coasted on their natural talents, but instead, they built fully realized characters. Their brief scene remains memorable precisely because it feels like we're glimpsing real people rather than watching actors perform. Number 23. How a box office failure became a classic. The film's theatrical release was a genuine disappointment, barely making a dent at the box office despite positive reviews. Poor marketing failed to communicate what made the story special, and audiences initially stayed away. The studio's fears about the title may have contributed to the lackluster performance, though the real problem was simply getting people into theaters. Home video changed everything. As VHS copies circulated and people discovered the film through rentals and word of mouth, its reputation grew exponentially. Parents showed it to their children, friends recommended it to friends, and its endless rewatchability meant people bought copies to watch repeatedly. The transformation from financial failure to beloved classic took years, but eventually became complete. Today, it ranks among the most quoted and cherished films ever made, proof that box office numbers don't determine cultural impact. The journey from underdog to icon mirrors the film's own underdog heroes, triumphing against impossible odds. Number 24. When a criminal borrowed the film's most famous name. In 2013, the film's mythology intersected with real-world crime in an unexpected way. The mastermind behind the Silk Road Marketplace adopted the alias Dread Pirate Roberts, directly inspired by the movie's concept of a legendary identity passed from person to person. The criminal's choice added strange notoriety to the film's legacy. The adoption of the name demonstrated how deeply the film's ideas had penetrated popular culture. The parallel between the film's swashbuckling adventure and real-world illegal activity created a bizarre connection. This strange footnote in the film's history shows how stories take on lives beyond their creators' intentions. What began as a clever plot device became inspiration for someone operating in the dark corners of the internet. The film's mythology proved powerful enough to influence reality in ways no one could have predicted. Number 25. Why every generation discovers it like it's new. The enduring legacy lies in its perfect balance of irony and sincerity, never letting cynicism overwhelm genuine emotion. The film treats its fairy tale elements with both humor and respect, allowing audiences to enjoy the adventure while appreciating the storytelling craft. This delicate equilibrium keeps it fresh across generations. Cross-generational appeal remains central to its continued success. Grandparents show it to grandchildren just as the framing story suggests, creating real-world echoes of the grandfather-grandson relationship. The film works equally well for children discovering it for the first time and adults revisiting beloved moments, offering different pleasures at different ages. Fans consistently describe it as a perfect movie because nothing feels wasted or wrong. Every performance, every line, every creative choice serves the story. From Goldman's bedtime tale to Reiner's direction to the cast's commitment, everything aligned to create something that transcends typical entertainment and becomes a cherished tradition passed down through families. The Princess Bride was built on a foundation of love, improvisation, near disasters, and genuine wonder. What started as a bedtime story told to two little girls became a production where actors channeled real grief into powerful performances, where genuine romance blossomed between co-stars, and where a gentle giant delivered one of his most memorable roles. The storms that shut down filming created the dramatic skies that made scenes unforgettable, while Billy Crystal's improvisation left the crew bruised from laughter. From a decade in development limbo to its transformation from box office disappointment into a beloved classic, this film proved that the best stories find their audiences eventually. The sword fights were real, the knockouts were accidental, and the magic captured on screen came from artists who cared deeply about every detail. If you love discovering these hidden gems, like and subscribe for more secrets from your favorite films. Drop your favorite behind-the-scenes moment, or your most quoted line, in the comments below.